Hi there, it's Andy Seathan from Combat Fusion in the UK. Here today with my son Joe. Okay, we're going to be doing a small video for you. Some of you may know that Joe was is in the British Army doing his basic training, but unfortunately due to the situation in the world with this nasty virus that's floating around, Joe's training has been suspended, so we've got him back home with us, and he's very kindly offered to help me out with this video. Okay, so we're going to be talking on 5-star block set. Now, I'm intending to do 2 parts to this. It may be 3, but I'm looking at 2. And the first part is just the basics within the 5-star block set, structure and movement. When I began, we were taught 5-star block set. But I learned as I went up in my ranks that there was actually originally only 2 block sets. Block set 1 and block set 2. Block set 1 being the right side and the left side of the sequence we know as in 5-star block set, and then blocking set 2 was the continuation of block set 1 when we start using the double hands and the opposing direction blocks, and then all the other stuff that comes after it as well. As far as I'm aware, the 5-star block set was a black belt thesis that somebody had created, and they'd hybrided together block set 1 with the double blocks off of blocking set 2 and created 5-star block set. Brilliant set, well put together, taught in 90% I suppose of Kenpo schools around the world, so it's become a part and parcel of our syllabus, and that's what we're going to cover today. Okay, so I'm going to ask Joe to take a horse stance for us. Now you'll note Joe's chambered. Okay, there's a specific reason for that which will hopefully come apparent to you in part 2. I know a lot of people start from here. Okay, you go straight into the block from the point of origin from the salute. I teach that as well, but this is specifically for a reason. Okay, so we're going to start with the first block. The first block is obviously upward block. In our school, we teach a tube, and we liken it to something that I can remember from my childhood called a toilet roll. Do you remember those things? You used to find them in bathrooms. They seem to have disappeared from the world for some reason. But you've got the centre, the cardboard tube in the middle. Okay, and that tube, slightly bigger maybe, runs up the centre of Joe's body. Now he's going to put his fist in the bottom of the tube here. It's going to travel up the centre line of his body, and when it pops out the top of the tube, he's going to rotate his arm into the upward block. Okay, slowly, mate, please. And there he's into the upward block position. Now, if he was doing a basic block and he needed to reverse that, he'd reverse his path of action and go exactly back the way he came. There you go, back to his original start position. Okay, so go back to the upward block, please. There's our basic upward block. Now then, without changing the position of your arm, Joe, I want you to turn that way and face away from me. Okay, so can you see the angle of Joe's arm? Okay? All right, mate? Okay, it's not here. Okay, it's out there. All right, turn back again, mate. And relax. That stems from a conversation I had with Master Parker a few years, well, many, many years back now. And he'd been talking at a seminar on the outer rim principle. Okay, now, you know the outer rim is from the eyebrows to the groin and shoulder to shoulder, the egg here, which we have to basically maintain and keep our movements within, okay, to keep our structure tight to our body. Doesn't mean to say you can't go outside the outer rim, but majority of our movements are maintained within the outer rim. I said to Mr. Parker, how does the upward block relate to the concept of the outer rim? I said, because when you're blocking, you're going outside the outer rim. His answer to me was, typical Mr. Parker, well, what do you think? And I said, well, for me, I do it so my weapon goes out to meet the incoming attack. Because the old saying in Kenpo, if you don't meet it, you're going to eat it. Okay, you've got to meet it to beat it, or you'll eat it. I said, that way, going out, the arm and the fist stay level with the outer rim for the eyebrows. You don't break the outer rim, you just go out and meet the incoming weapon. And he said words to me was, that's correct. So we've always done it that way. Okay, so Joe. So again, Joe's going to do an upward block. He's going to go through the tube. He's going to go up, and he's going to go out. And then he's angled away from his body to meet the incoming attack. From here, Joe's going to do the next block, which is an inward block. Now, everybody is aware of a conceptual box. Okay? Here. We've got a box around the body. Put your arm down, mate. Okay, so we've got a box running around our body. Okay, here. It's as deep as your body is wide, so it's perfectly square running off our shoulders. Okay, go to your upward block. when we take one side of the conceptual box here, when Joe does his inward block, his fist should end up in the corner of his conceptual box on the far side. As a rule of thumb, we were always taught that we could put our hand here against our ribs, and if the back of your hand, outside of your hand, the ridge hand, touches the arm and the ribs at the same time, you're more or less in the right distance. So it would be Joe's hand, not my hand, that do it. So if Joe puts his hand under there, he should be able to feel outside here and inside there. Okay, so his thumb against his body, and he should feel his arm, his tricep and elbow on the outside of his little arm. Gives him a rule of thumb that he's in the right position. Okay, so again, chamber. So we do upward block, up the tube, out, angle away, and inward block to corner of conceptual box. Thank you. The important thing here is structure. Joe doesn't want to move his upper shoulders at all. This really wants to stay in place. Okay, now the next block is the outward extended block. When you're ready, mate? Okay, so the outward extended block again uses a conceptual box. But this time he's going to the near side far corner. Okay? Some people do it so the arm's on the outside of the box, you go slightly past the rim of the box. I tend to teach stay on the inside of the box. It's a personal instructor preference, that's my preference. Okay, now from here, Joe is going to travel across the body and he's going to go to the downward block. Now, as a rule of thumb, the downward block finishes above the knee, okay? Just as a rule of thumb. But he's now using the conceptual box at a lower level. Now, depending on your structure, okay, whether you're, there's several human structures, like some people are broader at the top, narrower at the hips, some people are wider at the hips, narrower at the top, some people are dead like a tube, straight up and down, like him. Me, I'm just big, broad and good looking, but that's another story for another tape. So what we've got here is we have to take into consideration the hips. If you've got wide hips, your conceptual box lower may be bigger than your conceptual box on the shoulders. So it may be this sort of parallelogram sort of shape, okay? So using the lower box here, Joe's block is going out to the side into the corner of his lower conceptual box. From this position, Joe's going to chamber his weapon. Big circle and chamber. This is what was called the hidden block. Okay, 5-star block set, it's got 6 blocks in it. This is the hidden block. Okay, it's a back elbow block. This blocking maybe a roundhouse kick, and if you've ever had an elbow block on the top of the foot, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, how this can be a very effective block just by chambering. This also gives you a clue about part 2. Now from this position, Joe's going to do what we term a pad block. Alright, okay, off you go, mate. There. Now the pad block is centre of the conceptual box. Just the same as the upward block was centre of the conceptual box, the pad block is. The important thing here is not to have the pad block right in front of your groin. Okay, the pad block is to stop something hitting you in the groin. So you need to, again, to meet it, to beat it. The important thing here is not to lock the arm straight. In all of the blocks throughout this, you do not want to lock your arm into tension. That can cause a lot of problem, but it's especially prevalent here. Upward shock here against this hand, bam, with the knee, is going to send a shock wave of a locked arm straight up into the shoulder. And as some of you guys know, I've had a shoulder injury, so this is why I'm not doing anything strenuous and I got him doing all the work. So you don't want to injure your joints. Protect yourself for when you get to our age, okay? This guy's young, he's healthy, he thinks he's invincible. When you get to my age, you realise you're not invincible, so you have to protect your ability as you get older. Okay, so by keeping the arm just enough tension to contain its structure, it can work like a shock absorber, okay, and slow the attack rather than jam against it. Okay, so from this position, Joe's going to come back and chamber, and now he's ready to proceed with the opposite hand. Okay, so just for the sake of the people viewing Joe, okay, I'd like you to do right side and left side only. And this is what we would term blocking set 1, okay, from the chambered. This is from chambered. Okay, ready? In your own time. Okay, so now then, for blocking set, 5-star block set, we add the double blocks, which are the first part of the new sequence in blocking set 2. So would you like to do the doubles? Now in Kenpo, remember, when we do movements together, we don't side by side, we stack, okay? So when we do something like this, the arms will stack, okay? So Joe, so watch Joe's arms as they come out. Okay, stacked, going up that tube in the centre. Rotate, out, come back in, stack again. Now he does his outward extended blocks. Staying out to the conceptual box. Now cross to Daimler blocks. Now chamber to back elbows. And stacking padlocks. And the padlocks are stacked one on top of each other. This would be no good. If you stop something like that, it's going to pass straight through your hand. So you need to reinforce one block with the other. Okay, so it's got backup mass, even in 5-star block set. Okay, Joe, and then chamber. And thank you, mate. Okay, so that's the basics for 5-star block set. We could go deeper at that point, but I don't really want to. Next time we do 5-star block set, we'll look at more things involved, path of action, mirrors, and reverse motion. So, thanks for watching. Thank you, Joe. I'll see you on the next tape. Stay safe, stay indoors.